Let me start off this video by saying that video game adaptations have a history of being, well, extremely shit. They're not entirely thought out before they're recorded and released into the fucking wild for everyone to see. We have absolute gems like Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, and Dead or Alive. So now we just have a precedent for them being extremely shit. So when another one was announced, you can imagine that the reception wasn't exactly warm, and predictably so, because we had been conditioned to expect these to be very shit. But then the trailer for the series dropped, and I mean, it wasn't great, but people started to warm up to it. I mean, it was good because maybe, hey, just maybe, this was the promised child, the curse breaker. Maybe this one will actually deliver. And man, oh man, did it fucking deliver. Fallout released the stellar reviews because of its excellent storytelling, great pacing, and a wonderful soundtrack reminiscent, in my opinion, of Better Call Saul. In fact, it's pretty obvious that the opening sequence are heavily inspired by the slower sequences of Better Call Saul. Anyway, another thing the show does very well is subverting the viewer's expectations, something another show tried to attempt but failed miserably. Another show we all knew and loved at some point, at least, and I'm talking about Game of Thrones. But then season 8 happened, and well, season 8, D&D tried to. Oh, it was a shit show. Besides the writing making no fucking sense at all, and there being many, well, let's just call it questionable creative liberties that D&D took throughout the series. D&D wanted to, again, subvert the viewer's expectations, and not just in the sense that we expected the show to be good. From Arya killing the Night King and ruining years of foreshadowing, to Daenerys just not spotting enemy ships because she kinda just forgot. The show was trying to keep you on the edge of your seat, which if you were a comedy enthusiast, it probably did. Today though, I want to talk about a few scenes from the TV series Fallout and compare and contrast them with Game of Thrones and try to figure out why Game of Thrones failed and Fallout didn't. This goes without saying, but spoilers for Fallout and Game of Thrones if you care about that from this point onwards. In Fallout, at the end of episode 5, The Past, one of our protagonists, Maximus, is injured, and our heroes, while looking for a medical facility, enter a hospital in the middle of nowhere. And as they enter, the environment is dark with barely alive lights and an intense, eerie music background. And lo and behold, entering the fucking suspicious medical building was a bad idea. In the apocalypse, they are knocked out. When they wake up in this episode, they're shown to be in some sort of cabin, which, as we find out in the next episode, is apparently a medical cabin, or Vault 4. Lucy is extremely happy. Lucy is our other protagonist, by the way, and tells Maximus that he is in the best place in the world, quote unquote. They are greeted by a vault dweller by the name of Birdie, tells them that they are being kept under quarantine for 3 days before being released. Lucy offers to fuck Maximus, to which he says no because he's a fucking idiot. And at this point, you, the viewer, has gone from being concerned for the characters when they passed out and woke up in an unfamiliar environment to relieved when you discover that they're actually in a vault medical facility and receiving treatment. But as the camera pans out, right after, you see a glowing sign with the words test subjects written on it. So now you are concerned again. But when they are let out, they see weird mutants all around them. They're extremely weirded out, rightfully so, but say nothing. They get a real stern warning not to go to floor 12. They could do anything else, by the way. Just don't go to floor 12. They didn't get an explanation for it, but that's the only rule. And Lucy, being Lucy, of course, heads straight to floor 12. There, she sees multiple bodies and chambers being mutated. So she assumes that that's how the vault dwellers got the mutations. The scientist there had obviously been experimenting on people, so she bashes one in the face and tries to run, but she gets caught. And then it is revealed that the scientists were only trying to help relieve the suffering of the people in chambers, and the experiments were carried out by the original dwellers of the vault. The original scientists put there by Vault-Tec tried human experimentation and got out of hand. So now Lucy's been caught. She's tied up with rope. And we see the vault chief walking up to her with a fucking giant sword. And he only cuts her loose. He cuts the fucking rope. She's apparently being sentenced to death by being released into the wild. And not only that, she's been given weeks of ration as humanitarian aid. As if this scene wasn't beautiful enough, Maximus arrives in his armor after stealing the fusion core of the vault and injures a fucking few people before leading Lisi out of the vault. where she was already headed. And while all this is going on, we're also shown a conflict between the original vault dwellers and the people that have arrived from the surface. By the way, there are also people from the surface in the vault. They've taken people in. So we're shown that they celebrate a tradition that the vault dwellers are not too fond of. I don't think I need to point out the obvious political commentary here, but Lucy, the non-racist one, joins them for the tradition. Turns out they all get naked and worship a flag of fucking Moldaver. So that's why they were rooted out. And Moldaver, by the way, is shown to be a bad character, but turns out to be a good character. So even political biases are subverted. This show has crazy good writing, and man, I love the show. Throughout this entire episode, you're constantly kept guessing and actually on your toes. The writers never let you see what's next with multiple red herrings, and I absolutely love this stuff. I love it. I need more of it. Although being the absolute fucking giga chat that I am, I did predict all of it. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The writers are smart, but they're not smarter than me. Come on, guys. So that's it for today. I just really wanted to gush about this episode of Fallout. Let me know if you want to see more of it, and have a nice day.